which you cannot control, that is the business environment. Which you can control, it is not business environment. Change in agricultural prices, because it's a totally different kind of a policy which they are supposed to make. Globalization means the integration of the various economies of the world. Elements of business environment and dimensions of business environment both are same. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for the third chapter revision. Now here, what exactly you people need to do is take your pen and a paper and please do write whatever the questions which we're gonna give it to you, and I'll tell you how to solve those questions as well. Here in this third chapter, business environment, we will go with the questions which will appear in the main examination, that is section A, B, C and E. So here you don't have a 8-mark question, so please do remember that in the third chapter there is no question which gonna come in the section D, which is for 8 marks. That this is what you people need to understand. Now how the questions may come, what are the possibilities? Vidhyaashram is the only college which does everything for the students, and that's for free. Let's go with the first section, section A. Now the question in the business environment, the basic question, we need to know what exactly business environment is. Now according to our sessions which you have already seen, where we have defined and we have said the meaning also, or whichever the meaning you feel comfortable to write in a 1-mark question, you can go with it. Don't spend too much time in the 1-mark question. Rather, we can go with the key points. I'll just tell you here the key points. It means the sum total. So sum total is a key point. Sum total of what? All variance. Sum total of all variance or all individual, institution and other forces that are outside. So here you have something called, it's all about macro. Now here, outside the control of business enterprise, but that may affect the performance. So here we got to know that this business environment is all about the macro level, the macro environment, which you people cannot control. So next one here, in the same way, you can write like other things. Business environment is all about the things which happens in a business outside, right? So this is also a business environment. This is how you people can go with. Next question is, which of the following does not characterize the business environment? Now, what exactly in a business happens, which you cannot control? That is the business environment. Which you can control, it is not business environment. So let's go with it. Now uncertainty, we know that uncertainty can never be controlled, right? So this is not the answer. Next is employees. Now employees, yes, you can control your employees. So let's understand the next few options as well. Relativity is not to be controlled. You can never control it. Complexity is also, you cannot control it. So which you can control is not a characters of business environment. So the option is B. So you will be writing here B has employees. Next one is, which of the following is an example for social environment? Now we know that this entire business environment which has a dimension. So what are the dimensions of business environment is? You need to understand there's something called L step. Now this L step is actually the Abhilash Chandra tricks to remember the dimension of business environment. Now whenever you play chess, how the horse moves, it moves with the L step. So L in the sense legal, S in the sense social, T technology, E economic and P political. So here what is that they're asking is, they're asking about the social environment. Now what exactly happens in the social environment? So which of the following is an example for social environment? Social in the sense society. So Here, A, money supply in the economy. No, it is not. Then we have B, Consumer Protection Act. No, it is not. Next, the constitution of the country. No, it is not. Now, composition of family. Now, society in the sense people in the sense family. Now, that is what composition of family. So, this is the right answer, composition of family. So, your answer is D, composition of family. This is how you people need to write. Next question, the fourth one is liberalization means. Now, we need to understand the word liberalization. In the meanwhile, I want you people to also know that is 1991 economic reform. Now, what is this economic reform? Now, when we had this before 1991, how the economy of India was, and after we took this LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization, what really happened to India? Now, this is what you people need to know, the meaning of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Now, liberalization means liberalizing few things, the liberty of few things. The first one here is integration among economies. No, it is not. Next, reduced government control and restrictions. Liberty, liberal. Getting liberal. That means they are telling you that there should be not too much control of government. That is called liberalization. So your answer is B. But let's understand the option C as well as D. Policy of planned disinvestment. No, it will not come. None of the above. So your answer is B. That is reduced government controls and restriction. Next one is, which of the following does not explain the impact of government policy changes on business and industry? Now, business and industry with the government, there are few policies, but which are those which will not be affected? The first one here is more demanding customer. No. The B is increasing competition. No. Change in agricultural price, and then we have market orientation. See, all these things, which of the following does not explain the impact of government policy changes on business and industry. Whenever the impact of government happens, which of the following does not change? Like, it will not explain. That is the change in agricultural prices, because it's a totally different kind of a policy which they are supposed to make. Next one is section B, that is a 2-mark question. Now, please do understand, in a 1-mark question, you don't need to spend too much time. You just need to understand business environment, and then you need to see the sessions which I have already done, which is there in Vidhyaashram playlist. Go to the business studies playlist, and then you can watch all the session. And let me tell you this is for you, and that is what we have done. Now here in this, give the meaning of globalization. Now, globalization means what? I told you, 1991 economic reform. When we go with liberalization, privatization, globalization, that means they did 3 things. Liberalizing, in the sense there was so much things which the government had put restrictions and too much taxation on so many businesses. So then they decided, if we need to improve, we need to take down all these 3 things. Then they started liberalizing the control of government. Then the privatization, in the sense, now even people who are in the public sector, they can actually go to the private sector, and the private sector can actually come and take over what was the public sector, kind of a thing. That means they wanted to increase private sectors and reduce public sectors. So that is what they did. And the last one is globalization. That means they opened our market to everybody, where we thought that the entire world is like a single market. That is what globalization. You can do anything and everything across the world. That is what globalization aims at. Now here, globalization means the integration of the various economies of the world. That means, see, understand here, the entire world is like a single market. That is what the globalization aims at. So economies of the world leading towards the emergence of cohesive global economy. So this is what globalization is. please do watch my session. I've given more than 3 to 4 meanings there. You can actually write whichever you feel comfortable in writing. What is privatization? Now, the new set of economic reform. Now, the economic reform is 1991, aimed at giving the greater role to the private sector in the nation building process and a reduced role of public sector. This is what I explained it before, isn't it? So what happens in privatization in the sense? What exactly a public sector is? Let me just tell you here. Now, when we go with the word public sector, that means more than 51% of the powers lies in the government. That is what the public sector aims at. Now, here what happened is the public sector should be reduced and it should be given to the private sectors. Now, the private sector people, the individual or the firm or the organization, they'll improvise those sectors. That is what the nation building work was being set up in 1991. Now, here globalization, privatization and liberalization is very, very important. You people need to know the meaning as well as their importance. Next one is section C, that is for 4 marks. I told you the pattern how you are supposed to write the section C. The section C, the first thing is the meaning, then you go with definition, then you give a little introduction about the topic, and then you go with what the question is asking you people to write. Now, 4 marks in the sense 4 points, but what I always tell my students is never restrict for 4 points. If you know 5 points, please do write it. That is what so easily you people will get 4 marks. So here, explain any 4 features of business environment. Now, there are totally 8 features. You can write any 4, whichever you feel comfortable. So here, if you go and watch the sessions, you will get to know how to write these kind of answer. Now, the first thing is you need to write the meaning of business environment, which I've already discussed. Then you can write the definition according to Ferlin, what business environment is all about. Then you give an introduction, how business environment is helping nowadays, and then you go with the 4 features. So the first one here is totality of external force. We know that business environment is always a macro kind of environment, so it is total of external force. Specific and general forces, interrelatedness, dynamic in nature. So these are the 4 features of business environment. You need to write the points as well as you need to explain it. At least 4 to 5 sentences. If you go with each and every point, you will be fetching 4 marks very easily. Next one is explain any 4 points. See, they only tell you that 4 points. Why? Because it is 4 marks. This is all for 4 marks. Explain any 4 points to explain how important an understanding of business environment for managers is. Now here, when we go with this managers, please do understand what really happens is managers are the people who need to go and who need to check how the business changes. The minute the business is changing, we are also supposed to change the entire setup of our competitive edge. Now here, it enables the firm to identify opportunity. Now the managers need to be very clear about what and how they are supposed to do it. That means management is a dynamic force. So we need to understand what are the opportunities which can be taken if the business environment changes. So first one is it enables the firm to identify opportunities and getting the first mover advantage. See, Bill Gates, once he said that. Now, whenever you see any opportunity, we are supposed to grab it. And whenever you see that there are people who aren't doing it, then we are supposed to be the first one to do it. The second one is it helps the firm to identify threats and early warning signals. Next is it helps in tapping useful resources. It helps in coping with rapid changes. So these are the things which we are supposed to understand and we are supposed to do it. That is, as a manager, we need to know that what's happening in and around the city so that our business can actually have a very good sales. So these are the things which, as a manager, we need to go for it. Next is explain any 4 challenges that were to be faced by business and industry due to changes in government policies. Now, whenever there are government changes their policies, what are the things which we are supposed to go with? Now, I explained you more than 7 to 8 points in my regular sessions. If you watch those videos, it is very useful for you people so that you can write the answers very neatly. Now, I have taken only 4 of the points. The first one is increasing competition. Now, the minute there is a change of government policy, what happens is there is an increase in competition, more demanding customers, rapidly changing technology and environment, and necessity for the change. So these are the 4 things which really happens, and you people already know that. How is that you are supposed to write? If you get the same question here, you are supposed to write the meaning of business environment, then definition of business environment, and then the 4 points and start explaining it. Now, in the section D, though you people will not be getting a 8-mark question, but if you people get a 8-mark question, how you are supposed to write is what I am giving you an illusion here. Explain the features of business environment. So here we have taken 7 of the features of business environment. The first one is totality of external force, the same features which we have already written in the 4-mark question. Specific and general forces, interrelatedness, dynamic nature, uncertainty, complexity, relativity. Now, if you see the features, you will also be able to understand that in the first section A, the chapter business environment, we had this multiple choice question where they had asked which is not the business environment. They had given you 3 of the things, that is uncertainty, complexity, relativity, and one more option was employees. So we had marked employees, isn't it? So these are the features which you are supposed to write and then explain it individually. And explain with example the various dimensions of business environment. The minute you get a question called dimensions of business environment, this dimensions, you are supposed to think about the chess game, and there you are supposed to go with the horse, how it actually moves, and this is called as the L step. This is what the L step is. That is legal, social, technological, economical, political. The same way here, economic, social, technological, political, legal, any kind of a thing you can go with. Now we have L, S, T, E, P, L step. It's very easy for you people. That's what I told you people. This is all called the ACT Abhilash Chandra tricks. Please do remember those things. And the next one we have is section E, and I told you people already that section E is always for practical oriented question. The question is always indirect, so they'll twist and turn and they'll give it, but you are supposed to understand carefully what is that they want you people to write. The question here is show the different elements of business. See, the word itself is elements of business environment that influence the success of business enterprise with a neat diagram. So you are supposed to go with diagram. Now I told you whenever you write POQ, you are supposed to write this half of the page, the diagram, and then go with the points here. Now elements of business environment. Never get confused. Elements of business environment and dimensions of business environment both are same. So the same way L step of the chess horse, you are supposed to go with it. But here when you draw the diagram, go with a circle. Then again here also in a circle you can actually go with. Then you start writing the elements here. Now you have L, S, then you have T, then you have E, and then you have P. So we call this as L step. Now you can actually rearrange properly and then you can write L in the sense legal environment, then S in the sense social environment, T in the sense technological environment, E in the sense economical environment, and P in the sense political environment. So this is called the elements of business. Now here you write elements of business environment. So this is what you will be getting marks for, and then you write here the elements are A, then the same way legal, then B social, C technological, then D after that LST is done. E for economical, then E for political. And everywhere you are supposed to write environment. Here also you need to write environment. Here also environment. So these are the elements of business environment which will influence the business. So here, this is what you are supposed to write, and you will be getting 5 on 5 for a POQ question. Now, any doubt regarding this session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.